Welcome back to Split the Party. As always, I'm your host, Steve Osmond, and today we're going to talk about Spector Ops. I know, right? Spector Ops. Everybody loves this game. It's a great game. It's made by Plaid Hat Games. It's in the same universe, although it doesn't make any kind of sense as Dead of Winter. I don't love this game. I've only played it once, so let me back up a little bit. I bought this game because it's Plaid Hat Games. I love those guys. Got to talk to them at Origins. They gave me a big pitch on the game. I got to watch a little bit of a playthrough. I've played Dead of Winter a bunch of times. I love that game. So I picked this game up. Again, I've played this only one time, and it plays 2 to 5 players, and I played it with 3. The basic premise of the game, one of the players is going to be an agent of A.R.K, who is trying to figure out what Raxxon Global is doing because they're up to some nefarious doings. The rest of the players are going to play hunters for Raxxon, who are trying to find that guy and nail his butt to the ground, put him in jail. Probably not put him in jail, probably kill him. Where the game is fantastic and what's great about it is in these characters. You've got 4 different agents that you can be. The Cobra is kind of a ninja. Orangutan, this weird ape-man cyborg deal. Spider, who's kind of a spider lady cyborg. Or Blue Jay, who's a hacker. And they each have different abilities that make them play differently. Then you've got the hunters. You have the puppet, who likes to deal with the car, and I'll tell you about the car later. Rob, the presence, he loves the car. The gun, who uses a gun. The prophet, who is somebody else. Oh, he can nail people down, kind of figure out where you're at a little bit more. He can make things really tricky for hiding when he can read your brain and tell where you just were. And the beast, it's a werewolf. He just hunts you down. He moves faster than you, and he can kill you. This one is awful. In case you can't tell, I played as the agent last time. And the 2 hunters that I played against were the prophet and the beast. One could find me, the other one could kill me, and the one who could find me wouldn't get out of the car. So it's got everything it takes to make a fun game. It's got miniatures, it's got dice, it's got a really visually appealing board, a great backstory, a world full of flavor. The characters feel like I felt like I was actually trying to sneak around and get past these guys, and they're using their abilities. This one, the flavor really came out in the gameplay. And you have this kind of Letters from Whitechapel-esque map that as the agent, you're sitting back here jotting down your movements and keeping it secret from everybody and plotting out your next moves. It's a really, really great idea. I feel that the agents might be a little outgunned. When I played with 3 players, they moved the car up into position. The player who didn't move the car fired off on the next turn, they fired off the motion detector, and they knew basically where I was. And since they had the beast, they chased me down pretty quickly. It was a painful lesson in I'm not sneaky enough. You do have a number of different pieces of equipment that you can bring with you. Now, some of them will have a character's picture on them. For instance, this one has the puppet, so it can only be used by the puppet. Then there are some that are generic. They don't have anybody's picture on them. I had a lot of them that helped me evade detection, which helped buy me enough rounds to get 2 of the different obstacles, but not quite to get away. So let's get on those obstacles real quick. So there are 4, not obstacles, objectives, sorry. There are 4 different objectives on the board, and the way you determine that, you'll see these 4 different areas that have dice in the number 1, 2, 3, 4. You roll a d6 4 different times. The first one, you place the objective on one of these for the second, these for the third, and these for the fourth. So you have to run, make contact, and start your next turn adjacent to an objective. You have to do that with 3 of the 4 objectives and then get to one of these 3 arrows on the board. If you do that, you win. You have 40 turns in which to do that. You also have 4 hit points. And all a hunter has to do to hurt you is roll a die, and if the number is equal to or greater than the number of spaces between you and the hunter when they can see you, you take a point of damage. And then you start going down. Eventually you're dead. Where the game was challenging for me is that I have a finite amount of resources, And everyone has a finite amount of resources. I've got these equipment cards, and they can only be used so many times, and I've got these abilities, and they can only do so much for me. But the hunters have the same amount of finite resources that I do, each, and there are 2 of them. In a 4-player game, there would be 3. Now, in a 5-player game, which is how I want to try this, I think that might actually be the best way to play it. In a 5-player game, you have 1 agent and 4 hunters. But the agent gets to pick one of those 4 hunters, and at the beginning of the game, he's going to hand out these 4 roll cards. He's going to hand them out face down. So you see on that side, nothing. On this side, each of them will be told that they are either true hunters or they're also an agent. Now, this agent, when he sees the hunter doesn't have to reveal. If at any point he wants to, or if he's outed, he can flip over, he can say, yep, you caught me, I'm not one of them. Then he gets to take one of the remaining hunter cards or one of the remaining agent cards and become a bad guy with powers and equipment all to his own and help. I think that might be the best way to play the game. I don't know because I haven't tried it yet. And before I do my full playthrough on this game, playthrough video, I'm going to try that out as well. But if you really love Plaid Hat games, if you really like strategy, competitive strategy games like this, and sneaky, spy mechanic games and things like that, this might be the game for you. And this might still be the game for me. Like I said, I've only played it once. I'm not wild about it at this point. But I will, I'm going to keep playing it. I'm going to try it again, try it a few different ways, and I'll get back to you and let you know what I think. Get on the forums, get on Facebook, get on our webpage. Tell us what you think of the game. Tell me if I'm doing something wrong. Who knows? I mean, I'm notorious for holding an instruction book in my hands and then setting it down and starting to play a game without actually flipping the pages open. So maybe I'm doing this wrong. Let me know. But for right now, I think that's going to be about it. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Dual Bus Design, Excelsior Games and Comics, and Sound G Entertainment. And as always, I'll see you out there in the Nerdverse.